Hello, everyone, and we're live with the Art of Attraction with Dominey Drew. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is the Art of Attraction, and we like to talk about cool shit like sex and relationships and attraction and passion and all the dirty things and all of the glorious things and all the passionate things that, in a lot of ways really make life worth living. So thank you so much for joining me. If you are new to the show, then I am your host, Dominey Drew. As previously mentioned, I specialize in helping single men attract life partners through personal and relationship coaching. And if you're interested in finding out more of that, I would love to share more with you. You can find it at domineydrew.com/hello. My first name's a little odd. Sometimes I think I ought to stop and explain it a little bit. It's like Dominique without the Q on the end. So it's Dominey. Drew is the last name, /.com/hello. And so I've got a great show for you today. I haven't actually planned any of it, so I have no idea what I'm about to talk about. But if you would like to, thank you for the support on Facebook Live. I am coming to you on Facebook from my profile page, which is just Dominey Drew. I have, again, a very strange last name, so feel free to look me up on Facebook. I'm pretty easy to find. No idea what I'm going to talk about, but honestly, that doesn't really bother me a whole lot, to be honest. First of all, you are more than welcome to call in with your questions if you would like. I love answering questions on the phone. The phone number for that is 828-333-4686. And again, that's 828-333-4686. Or again, look things up on Facebook Live. And I got my regulars coming in here and watching the show. It's so good to see you guys. Thanks for joining. So yeah, it's funny. I got on today and I was thinking, okay, what am I going to talk about? And usually I plan at least a little bit, but I got to be honest, a lot of what I teach tends to, I sort of get in the zone and it comes. It sounds a little bit like it's channeled. I don't know if you guys out there are familiar with that term or not, but that's essentially when you get into kind of an empty space. Essentially, if I am Dominey, a person, then the kind of Dominey-ness in me steps aside for a moment and the sort of wisdom or spiritual knowledge comes through. If you guys are familiar with the law of attraction, that came from channeled material. Hang on just a second here, guys. That's why things are odd. Hold on. Stand by. Here we are. There we go. Okay. I was only hearing out of one headphone. I'm so proud of myself that I can fix incredibly infantile and basic technological issues with my sound equipment. You should have seen me. I bought about a year ago when I started this. My friend invited me to start this podcast, and was gracious enough to let me host it on his network, which is absolutely wonderful. And he so obviously was like, okay, what do I need? So he tells me to buy this mixer. And if you guys aren't sound people, a mixer is like a board, a piece of technology that is just covered in hieroglyphics and buttons, which mean absolutely nothing to anyone on the planet. And if you turn one of the knobs and it's wrong, then no one can hear you, but it will not tell you why it is wrong. This is how it is for me. This is my experience of trying to make sound work. But it's also really interesting because, I got an offer actually the other day to be on a TV show, actually on a channel that's on Roku television. And, they said, we do this show and you can do your work. And, part of that really appeals to me because my interest in doing this, as you might know if you tune in often, is really to bring this to a lot of people. And the work that I do is not normal coaching. If you've watched anything ever that I've done, you will probably know that. If you've worked with me, you absolutely know that. It just isn't, it's not therapy, right? It's not coaching, and it's not enlightenment either. I really do look strictly sort of not strictly, but primarily at the psychological, right? And at the spiritual as well. But like a spiritual guru, like won't talk about, the issues you have that you got from your mother, right? And someone who's just doing therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy or something like that, won't look at, the spiritual contracts that you have that are, that are underneath, that are underlying those psychological issues that are holding you back in life. So I've actually really found that combining all these layers together, all these levels together, provides the fastest way through, right? And so the way that I work is not exactly, it's not really channeling, but in a way there is that element to it. For example, I get up here as I'm doing now, and I have, I have no plan. But that's okay, because usually if I have a plan, I don't follow it anyway. Like I just sort of tune in and I see what's here, right? And this is actually what I do with my clients as well. So my clients will come and they'll say, because the way that I work is I have an 8-week online course. And once you sign up with me, first of all, once you sign up with me, buckle the hell up, because your life's about to change. This is not tips and tricks. This is not a self-help book. This is a really real life change, and people's lives, bam, 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 start changing immediately as soon as they decide to show up to the course to work with me. So there is something about me that kind of activates or like agitates the issue. Like you can't, if you want to stay stuck, you will not be attracted to working with me. Like I've learned this now. If you're interested, if you if you are attracted, here we are talking about attraction, right? If you are attracted to working with me, you want to move your shit. You're over it. You're done. Otherwise, I will scare the shit out of you. That's what I tend to find. It's people who are sort of like complacent or resigned or just fine with how they are. I mean, look, this is most of the world. It sounds like I'm talking crazy talk, but I'm not. These people, that's true on a lot of levels. It often sounds like I'm talking crazy talk. But even in this, it's not the case. A lot of people, they don't want to change their lives. It's scary to do that. What's going to happen? Hold on. What's going to happen? I want to know before I jump in. I can't tell you that. Fuck, I can't even tell you what I'm about to say next. But it's going to be an adventure, and it's going to lead. I can tell you where it's going to lead. People work with me, and within a matter of weeks, they know exactly why they're still single and exactly what to do about that. That's incredible if you think about it. And actually, recently, I've done the online course and I do the group coaching for my clients, and so they get a lot of one-on-one time with me. When you work with me, boy, you're on the train. So the way through is here. I provide the guidance to help you get through the issue, because otherwise you're like drowning. You're like that's what it always feels to me, is when you don't know what the problem is. There's a problem because it hurts, right? But you don't know what the issue is, so you don't know how to fix it. And how painful is that? It's like swimming. It's like being in the middle of the ocean and not having anywhere to put your feet on the ground. If you're in a place and you're in the wrong place, okay, that's a piece of information. But if you're just banging your head against a wall, being like, why aren't women attracted to me? Why aren't women drawn to me? Why do I keep ending up single? Why am I single at 35? Why am I single at 45? Why am I single at 55, 65, 75? How many years do you want to keep doing this? That, my loves, is the only thing I cannot, the only aspect of that I can't control. I can't provide that for you. You need to decide when you're done, when you are finished. And again, it may not be when you think. That's okay. People like to struggle. I like to struggle. Please don't think I'm above any of this. I went through all this bullshit for goddamn years. I've done this process for 15 years. And my life is fucking miraculous. It's amazing. It used to be awful. Just awful. I was wildly suicidal as a teenager. I couldn't even tolerate life. I couldn't even tolerate it. And I have a lot of clients coming to me saying the same thing. They can't tolerate life, you know? Because it's that bad. And then I found this process work, the work that I now teach, and it's like essentially you're finding where you're holding yourself back and you're handling it. And then next, great, where are you holding yourself back here? Great. Okay, here's the way through. Okay, great. Where now? Where now? And that is amazing. That's amazing. Because there's, by definition, no problem that can't be fixed. So like I help single men attract life partners. You know, I help you understand exactly why you're single, exactly what to do about it. But I could also use the exact same process to help you see why you're limiting yourself financially, why you repeatedly have health problems, why you struggle from depression, why you struggle from anxiety, why you find life hard to bear. So anything that you want that you don't have, this is where that focuses. So, you know, the men that I work with, you know, within weeks, they have a way forward. They understand. Even if I have a client who has struggled with rejection from women for 50 years, I shit you not, 50 years, 2 weeks, he knew what the problem was and he knew exactly what he needed to do to fix it. Can you imagine how different your life would be right now if you had a roadmap to work through your issues? Can you imagine? Just let yourself imagine for a minute. How would you feel in your body if you weren't just drowning, if you weren't just, you know, wandering through life, trying to make the best of it, but you actually knew why you're getting what you're getting in life, why you can't get past a certain level of success, you know, why you can't find a job that you're passionate about, why you can't feel emotions, why you have low self-confidence, why you have low self-worth, low self-esteem. What if you knew why women weren't drawn to you, why you push people away without meaning to? There was a wonderful sentence that I think my mother actually said to me, and she went to one of the schools that I did as well. And she said, wouldn't you like to know that thing that you do that pushes people away? Because something does it, right? If you're single at 35, 45, 55, 65, and you don't want to be, then something's getting in the way of your happiness, right? So something is pushing people away. And it might not be aggression. You know, I using the word push, you might be thinking of assertiveness, aggression, negativity, whatever. But it's not. It could be acquiescence, weakness. It could be, you know, the quote, nice guy syndrome. Ooh, I love that one. I have a whole episode on that. I had a field day. Because the nice guy is just nice. Nobody doesn't like people who are nice. That's not a thing. So if you're nice and people don't like you, it's not because of your niceness, okay? The niceness is the core quality, right? You are naturally a very nice person. I'm not naturally that nice of a person. That's not really a word people use for me, you know? When when guys would date me early in my life, it's a little bit different now, but I like sweetness is another thing that I've sort of never really identified with in myself. And guys come and at some point they'd be like, oh, you are so sweet. And at that point I'd be just turn and be like, oh, you got it bad. Like you are in now. Cause like, that's not accurate at all. Like you're just seeing what you want to see at this point. Which is a little bit playful. And I have sort of gotten a bit more comfortable with my sweetness in my older and wiser years. But you know, there's like that niceness, right? Well, niceness doesn't push people away. So it must be something else. So if you're naturally nice, okay, if that's a core quality of yours and you distort that to protect yourself, how might that go? What kind of relationship might you end up in? Let's break that up. How might that go? So you're very nice. And remember, it's a distortion of niceness. So what's a distortion of niceness? Over niceness, right? Too nice. Sure, sweetheart, we'll do whatever you want to do. Oh, absolutely. Oh, you look amazing in that. Oh, you look amazing in that too. Oh my gosh. Oh, of course you can, go over there. Of course you can take that trip by yourself. Of course you can have the kids. Acquiescence. You're a doormat. Doormatness pushes people away, loses their interest. Where are you? You're not making yourself present, owning your space in the relationship. A relationship is two people. Two people have to be present to have it. Where are you? Too busy being nice? That's not nice. That's being afraid of their reaction. If you stand in your power, right? Nice guys don't finish last. That's bullshit. Doormats finish last. And you're not a doormat. You're distorting your core quality of niceness. That's who you really are. You're really nice. But then there's a distortion of that, right? So there's the niceness. And then there's the, I'm afraid to be myself because she's not going to like me, so I'm just going to be nice. That's fear. That's different. That's not the core quality, right? It's like if you're strong and assertive and you're very comfortable standing in your power, you might distort toward being pushy or being aggressive. Those people also get left, but maybe later and in a different way. Don't envy others. Fix yourself. So then the nice person goes, oh, see, women just don't want nice guys. Man, fuck you. Women don't want nice guys. Women don't want you. Great. That's the data point. Now, why? It's not because you're nice. That's a cop-out. What else? What else? Where are you not standing in your power? Where are you letting people walk on you? So what kind of relationships will this result in, right? Abusive ones. Short ones. Ones where the woman walks all over you, doesn't appreciate you, doesn't value you. Ones where you are not taking part. Where are you? Stand on your feet. She wants someone who stands on his feet. Because she wants a relationship, and a relationship takes two, and that needs you to stand on your feet. See? It's not, and I bitch about this a lot in this show, I don't say things like what women want. It's not about what women want. It's about that's how relationships work, Angel Face. Stand on your feet. They're your feet. Stand on them. Be a partner. Don't be afraid of your own power. If you are, great, come work with me. We'll figure out why. And in a matter of weeks, you will not be any longer. You're continuously finding yourself in abusive relationships. Okay, so you're walking into that somehow, right? Because that's the pattern. It's not fault, it's not blame, but wake up. Don't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. What are you doing with your life? This apparently seems to be the tough love episode, but it's true. How long do you want to fucking keep going? How long do you want to do this? How long do you want to be the victim? Oh, it's not me, it's the women. There are no women where I am. There are women where you are. Yes. There are. I don't even know where, you don't even know. You could be, okay, if you're on a fishing ship in the middle of the North Sea, all right, it's possible there's no women there. But that's probably not the longest that your pattern lasts either, right? If you are on, one of those islands where it's just male monks, okay, there's probably no women there, but you're also probably not watching Facebook Live, so probably not. What you mean is you can't find women to connect with, right? That's what you mean. But say what's true. What's true is I'm having a really hard time meeting women. Oh, well, that we can fix. That's something we can work with. Language is huge. What you say has effect on your life, not to mention everyone else's. My my mother became a convinced friend, Quaker, when I was about 14. And I do pretty much everything she did. Um, had its own issues. And so I went with her. I also went into Quakerism, and I found it very powerful. And one of the things that so I don't know if you know anything about Quakerism, but it is a religion, but it has no creed. No one is closer to God than anyone else. So for the Quakers, it's the fundamental belief is there is that of God in everyone. Okay, it is Christian based. I don't particularly consider myself Christian anymore, but for that period of time I did, and it's the kind of Christianity that's really the most tolerant and accepting. There's that of God in everyone, so you don't need to go through a priest. You don't need to go through a pope or anyone else. Like the Pope is closer to God than you are, so you have to hang on to him. It's like, no, it's not so much about that. Instead, it's based, and there's no creed. Instead, it's based on these 5 testimonials, which are simplicity, equality, community, integrity, and peace. Okay, so and they're not, they get mixed up with Amish and Mennonites quite a bit. They are pacifists, and so are Mennonites. Amish are actually not. So Quakers, the Mennonite Church, and the Church of the Brethren are the only 3 pacifists without exception. Without, there's never any excuse for violence ever, including self-defense. Like they just don't believe in it at all. So total pacifists. And so I started this when I was 14. I joined this really incredible group of people. They're also like activists, and the group I was in, there are different sections, of course, because religion loves to divide itself somehow, or humans like to divide themselves. But the side that I was in was very liberal, very progressive. And basically what they would do is they would sit in silence in a house. Okay, there was no churches, because the sort of belief at the time was that the church was where God was. And the fundamental belief of this is God's everywhere, right? There's that of God inside you. So we all have the same amount of the divine, our kind of divine spark, which I thought was quite beautiful, and has been my experience of life since. And so they meet in these houses, these just like they're called meeting houses. And they're everywhere. You'll find them in your town if you look for them. They're wonderful. And basically they would sit in benches and rows of benches that face each other around the room. And they would, they sit in silence. And the purpose of it is to listen for the voice of God within. And I had a number of experiences in meeting, a number of direct experiences of the divine. And it was an incredibly sacred space, incredibly beautiful. And one of the things that they do is, the simplicity thing. Though that's what I was going to say. It's not. There's nothing wrong with technology. They have laptops. They drive cars, whatever. But the simplicity thing is really quite significant, and it's something that I've really sort of carried on throughout my life, which is that they believe that a lot of clutter or a lot of fanfare, like the Catholic churches with all sort of dripping gold from the walls, they believe that really distracted you from what was actually important, which is the connection with God. And so that was kind of a cool thing. And I really took that on, and I still heed that, just because I like that. I like my life like that more. And the other piece was the integrity piece. And so what happened was when I was 14, I stopped lying. I just gave it up. And, I wasn't particularly like a rebellious kid. Like I was pretty, fucking good kid, actually, perhaps too much. But I would lie, like any kid, whatever, I guess would lie, mostly to get myself out of trouble. Right. So if my mom, said something, whatever. And so I remember when I went through this process, I sort of made this commitment. I can't believe I did this when I was 14. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I made this sort of commitment to myself that I was going to not lie anymore. And so I remember the time when it came up, the time when it was difficult, was when she'd be pacing. She'd be like, "Did you do this?" And I wanted to like sort of either skirt around it, or I wanted to be like, it wasn't my fault because now I just had to be like, I remember like bracing myself and being like, yep, I did. I didn't think, and I did that thing. And it's funny looking back at this now. I haven't thought about this in a very long time. It's so interesting what kind of comes up. But the practice of that, of really just sitting, sort of committing to the truth, committing to myself. Yep, that's a thing that I did. I'm going to own that. Even if it sucks. And even when she yells at me, because I know she's going to yell at me, and then she would yell at me. And then it would be fine. And the fortitude, looking back, the fortitude that must have afforded me, the strength that must have given me, to really to sit in what's true beyond all things, and the whole point of going into all this and what ended up being a story about Quakerism, is that I stopped lying at that point, and I went many years without ever telling a lie. And at some point, when I went to school, particularly the Brennan School, the Barbara Brennan School of Healing, I noticed that the teachers spoke a little bit strangely. They'll say, how is that for you? Or what is your experience? Or how do you perceive that? Just things that you wouldn't quite say, right? In normal, whatever, unconscious language, right? And the reason they do that is because they're speaking truth. They're saying only what's true. And because most people don't do that, it sounds a little bit strange to your ear. It's like, try going one full hour. And for that hour, before you speak, you ask yourself, is what you're about to say true, kind, and necessary? It has to match all three. Just run it by. Try it for an hour. And then write on my Facebook page what your experiences are. I would love to hear. Or write to me on Instagram, just Dominey Drew on Instagram, or write to me, write on my website, domineydrew.com/hello. Send me a thing and see how this goes. This is a fascinating thing. And when my mom suggested this to me, I think she was the one who shared that with me as well. She said, I remember thinking, oh my God, I'll never talk again. I was like, Jesus. Oh, I didn't say Jesus. I didn't swear until very late in life. I was very different than I am now. Dominey pre-process work is just about unrecognizable from Dominey post-process work. But yeah, overall, I remember her saying that. And I remember being like, oh my God, I'm never gonna, I won't say anything. I won't make any of my jokes. What is necessary? And now that is pretty much how I operate. I don't really need to run it through my head anymore but I did for a very long time. Now it's just sort of how I speak. I have no desire to say things that are unkind. And I used to. And I got a pretty fucking like dark sense of humor too. So it's not like, you sort of speak with the saint-like words. It's not about that. It's just, is it true? If you're talking to your friend and she, you guys have a friend in common and she's like, oh, da-da-da got married. She's like, wow, I can't believe that happened. Is that necessary? Is that kind? What would your vocabulary be like if everything you said were true, kind, and necessary? Try it. Being integral with your word, right? Meaning what you say. Or if you're going to say something mean it. It's like everything you need to say has to be incredibly kind, but boy, stand behind it. I had, employees, and I would come up if they did something wrong, and I would say that is unacceptable. This is not okay. This needs to not happen again. Like, I can be perfectly strong. I have no problem being strong. But, can it be kind? Can it be in integrity with yourself? I had a client who, I wish I could remember exactly what he was talking about. I can't remember quite, but said something about some woman, and how he felt about her, and it was just like this total projection. We project how we feel, and we think we know how other people feel, and this is a great failing of humanity. This is a great failing, because you don't know what the other person is thinking. You think you do. It's very seductive. But also, I had a client just this afternoon who has just been exhausted all the time. We were talking about, what life was like for him, and and he's like, yeah, I don't really work that hard. I don't really do things that much, but I seem to be tired and stressed all the time. Great. So something's going on. So we look under the surface, and sure enough, despite the fact that he's been really positive, he's been getting a huge amount more positive in the time that since he's worked with me. He doesn't, he's taken responsibility for other people's responses to him. So he has an interaction with someone, and he's like, oh, I'm being really positive and upbeat, but then, I can tell that they're not reacting well. And so then I'm trying to adjust myself, right? I'm trying to, essentially what he's trying to do is make himself small so that the other person is more comfortable. But the fact, he's like, oh, and people don't like it. I do this and people don't like it. And I was like, do they come to you and say, I don't like that you're positive now? Because, like, who the fuck says that, right? Probably not. Positivity, like niceness, does not really push people away. Fake positivity does. If you're not happy, I am a genuinely happy person now, only because I've gotten through my, 1,000 pounds worth of bullshit, right? But before, if I'd pretended to be happy, it would have pushed people away. It's obnoxious. People can tell. They don't need to know you. They don't need to know what you're like, or who you are, or what's genuine you. People can tell genuineness. People can tell everything. That's why you're single, because there's something going on underneath the surface that is holding you back from what you want. That's why I teach you how to find the ways you're self-sabotaging, because that's the most direct way to the result that you want. Whatever that result is, health, money, success. I specialize in single men who want to solve the problem of loneliness. That's just a subject. We can teach this work anywhere. That's why a lot of people come into my program and their lives start just turning around. They're making more money, they're more successful. Their businesses are going better. Their relationship with their family is better. Their relationship with their kids is better. They're healthier. They're happier. The depression shifts. The anxiety shifts. It's massive, because what we're changing is you, not changing you, opening you up, teaching you how to be more authentic. And through authenticity, whoo, boy, does the world change. Wildly. So, I can't remember what I was talking about before. But yeah, that's the gist of it, right? So this process, everything starts to change, right? More money, more success, more, people are finding their passion. People are, learning what they like, finding their purpose, right? More authentic, more free. I mean, freedom is huge. Oh yeah, my client, that's what I was talking about before. So it turned out, this guy was essentially trying to control how people saw him. You can't control the other. It doesn't work. Otherwise, I would teach you how to attract women by making it seem that you are someone who they want. If that were what got you the best results, I would teach you that. It doesn't. Not only are you miserable, how the fuck could you not be? But you're someone that you're not, which means she's falling in love with someone who's not you. You're having to keep up a farce. Your relationship is built on something that's incredibly shaky at best. Can't possibly last. And she's not, and she can tell that that's not who you are. I'm not saying won't get you laid, right? Pickup artist stuff and things like that. I actually have a number of clients that I work with now who have studied that and are just went pretty far in it too. And it just didn't work. But also the intention is different. That will teach you how to take a girl home from the bar. Other than being authentic and confident and charming, I don't know how to tell you to take a girl home from a bar. That's not the area I specialize in. But I will teach you how to authentically attract someone who's actually right for you, something that will last, because that requires genuineness. The other, maybe she's tipsy, maybe you have that was a little shady. Don't pick up tipsy girls in the bar. Maybe you just, you kind of want to do a one night thing. Fine. There's a lot of ways that can work. But for a long-term relationship where you want to be happy in it, oh, hold on. That's a whole different game. Right. So this client of mine was taking responsibility for these other people's reaction to him, and it just doesn't work. And it's exhausting. You're projecting what you think the other person thinks of you. You're deciding what the other person thinks of you. You don't know. You cannot possibly know. You are not privy to that information. The faster that you can realize that, the happier you will be. Take responsibility for your piece. They don't seem to be reacting super well to me. I feel a little put out. Okay, that's your piece. What is it that makes you feel put out about that? Right? That's the piece you handle. Not, I wonder how I can get them to like me. I don't know how to teach you that skill. But I do know that when you get out of your own fucking way, people like you a lot. Right? People like you a whole lot because you're magnetic, because you're authentic, because you're happy, because you're free. It's like walking around, having rope wrapped around you, and not in the fun way. Tied up head to toe. Wondering why you can't get anywhere in life. Because these beliefs, they wrap around you, these defenses, they wrap around you. To shield you from the world. You shield yourself from the world. And then you wonder why you're not getting the results that you want. Why people aren't seeing you, loving you, accepting you. Because you're not doing those things for yourself. I think I've mentioned this on here before, but I have this great magnet on my refrigerator that says, what would a person who loves themselves do? A lot of people never really used to think I was attractive until I fell in love with myself. Sounds like such an obnoxious statement. It's honest to God true, I swear to God. I went through this process where I dated myself, and I was like, all right, I'm kind of feeling into you. All right, you like that? That's pretty rad. And of course I liked all the things I liked because I'm the one liking them. But there really was this process of dating and getting to know. I'm probably 25, 26. I'm 35 now, so probably about mid-20s, I think. I probably started going through this. It was when I was really, intensively doing process work, although I did that for a decade and a half. But this process was incredibly sacred, and I started realizing that when I actually let myself be me and stopped wrapping myself up in what I thought everybody fucking thought about me, I started to shine a bit more. And then I was like, oh, hey girl, I see you. And I started to like myself more. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you liked yourself? Seems like a funny question. Seems like a silly question, but it's not, is it? Something resonates, doesn't it? Because there's some level on which we don't like ourselves, isn't there? If only I were a little bit more, if only I were a little bit sexier, if only I were a little bit thinner, if only I were a little bit more muscular, prettier, stronger. So when you start this process of falling in love with yourself, which by the way starts with self-acceptance, right? You can't fall in love with yourself while denying, while trying to make yourself some other way. You see how all of these things are, if you compare this to like the pickup artist stuff, it's like, Jesus, the number of steps that you're skipping by being like, all right, go up and talk to 100 million women, get rejected 999 million.9 times, get laid 10. I don't know if those are really the stats, but it's about accurate in my head. And all the shit that you're skipping over, like liking yourself. How are you going to feel the next morning? Yeah, you got laid. Good for you. You could pay for that. Do it safely. But you could pay for that. I got nothing against that. But wouldn't it be great if you loved yourself? And then, oh, how the ladies flock, and the gentlemen. People want to be around people who love themselves. It's incredibly magnetic, incredibly addicting, draws people in. So in this process of falling in love with myself, people started to find me attractive. All of a sudden, I would get comments. Oh, my goodness, you're so, wow, what a photo. Nobody used to say that shit to me. Wow, look at that. And then I started getting negative comments about it. Oh, well, of course you look like that. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, what now? What assumptions are you making about me based on how you think I look and how you think I look? The BS was instantaneous. But it was different BS than I'd ever gotten before. Well, that was a new experience. So it was really that shift. And suddenly, everyone thought I was attractive. And then after that, because before, I had like profound body image issues. Like I hated myself. I truly, like, self-hatred. That's not an exaggeration in any way. It's very, very powerful and very painful. And so, to go through that and to come through the other end and learn painstakingly, one step at a time, to even tolerate myself. I was talking about in the beginning of the show about how I had a hard time tolerating life. I couldn't tolerate myself. Of course I couldn't tolerate life, for Christ's sake. I'm the one here. I'm the one living it. So I'm unable to tolerate. Gradually, I start to tolerate myself. Gradually after that, I start to like myself. And then it turned into a little crush. Oh, see you, girl. All right. What if we wear this? Oh, okay. Hold on. And then, right, the falling in love process. And now I am such a massive fan of myself, I can't even tell you. I could just sit here the whole day and tell you about how great I think I am. And the viewership would plummet. But it's true. It's true. I'm very comfortable in my body. And as a result, I've gotten more direct, which I find men really appreciate. Because you guys have no idea what's happening inside women. For the most part, at all. Which is not unreasonable. I don't know what's happening inside most women. So the ability to speak clearly, he says something that's off-putting to me, and I go, hey, I'm sorry, that comment hit me a little bit wrong. Did you mean to insult me? Because that sounded insulting to me. Oh my God, no, I meant it like this. Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. All right, cool. So there's never anything going on underneath the surface that isn't what you see. How amazing would it be to date a woman who just says what she's thinking? Not in like a "I think this is stupid" type of way, but just in like a so you make a comment that's a little off-putting or something, and I go, yeah, I'm feeling I'm feeling a little insecure. I'm feeling insecure. What do I need? I'd really like to be held. Or I'm complaining about my friend. My friend's going through this. It's stressing me out, and I'd really like to talk about it. Or I really don't want to talk about it. Can we just sit here? Can we just watch a movie? Or can we just snuggle? Whatever, right? But there's this experience of like really clear communication because there's no longer all the bullshit in the way. Not like, oh God, I'm feeling really insecure and I don't want him to see that I'm insecure. Fucking see that I'm insecure. Sometimes I'm insecure. If I'm insecure more often than I really want to be insecure, then I go to my therapist. I go to my healer. I go to the woman who teaches me the way I teach men, the way I teach my clients, right? Supervision. So in order to get to that place, that clear communication, that self-love, there's this process of self-acceptance. Okay? Remember the first process was tolerating. Tolerating yourself. Can you tolerate yourself? Can you make it okay? Can it be okay to be you, just the way you are? Sometimes I'm insecure. Personally, I used to be insecure all the time. I mean, like 90% of the time. I was always in my head. All this bullshit was going on. Yada, 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 yada. Exhausting. So instead, can you let it be okay for you to have the feelings that you're feeling? That's the first step. Don't try to jump to be like, okay, I'm in self-acceptance. What does that fucking mean? It means, can you be okay with what's happening in the moment? That's it. That's all we practice in what I do. We find what it is that's happening. We find the truth of what's happening in the moment, and we sit in it. And as a result, we create a space where you're practicing being authentic. We're practicing being you, undistorted, untouched. Without having to hide yourself, without, looking. Is a part of you think that you're worthless? Okay, let's look at that. Maybe you're right. You're going to have to risk that to look at it. I didn't say it was easy. I said it was simple. And if you're brave, it's easy. And bravery doesn't mean not having fear. Bravery means feeling the fear and doing it anyway. So, self-acceptance. What would it be like if you could just let yourself be who you are in this moment, just for a moment? How would you change? What change happens in you just to hear me say that? To practice this will lead to more change than anything else you could possibly do in your entire life. Everything changes, even your physical body. Because when you're giving yourself permission to be who you are, to be how you are in this moment, which is all self-acceptance is, the pressure goes, I need to go to the gym. Oh, I should be going to the gym. I'm not going to the gym. I'm not doing that. That's not happening. So, okay. Then the pressure fucking lifts, and guess what you end up doing? Going to the fucking gym. Not because you're pushing yourself, not because you're saying that you should, Because with all of the pressure and disappointment, oh God, mom, see, if I were a better human being, I would go to the gym. Do you love yourself? Then take care of yourself. Go to the gym. Go. Makes you happier. Endorphins. You know? It's good for you. You become more confident. You become more capable in a way. Helps you step into your power. Nice guys. Helps you step into your power, nice guys. Nice guys who are the victims of the nice guys finish last. Don't let yourself be a victim. Are you going to tolerate that? How much longer are you willing to let that be the case? How much longer? Are you willing to live the life you're living now? And what are you willing to do to change it? I'm not saying everything's terrible. I'm sure everything's not terrible. Probably most things are great. How much do you want the next level of amazing? The next level of freedom and boundaryless ecstasy of passion and connection and satisfaction with women, with yourself. This is why we work in the self. It starts with you. It all starts with you. I want to do a whole episode that I'm just going to entitle, It's Not Her, It's You. And I could do the exact same episode for women, and I would entitle it, It's Not Him, It's You. This isn't about gender. It's not even about dating. It's not even about relationship. It's about, where are you holding yourself back from what you want? And how to stop. And then how your life changes. The differences that come, that you experience. So this is the practice, and this is the way through. And I've, created this business. I'm so ecstatic. I love my work more than I've loved just about anything else in my entire life. I am so fulfilled by it, and I am so moved by it. I'm so impressed by the men who hire me. Truly, just the act of hiring me is so impressive to me, because I know what it entails, and I know all the, what's happening on the energetics, on those levels. I know what you have to go through. There's an investment, financial investment, there's a time investment, but most importantly, you got to be willing to change. And I know how hard that is, because I've done it for a long time. So the practice becomes, how much longer are you willing to stay where you are? Even if it's pretty good, is pretty good enough for you? Guys will come and they'll say, well, it's not so bad. Oh, okay. Is that good enough for you? Is it not so bad life? Is that okay? Does that make you happy? Answer might be yes. It's not actually as loaded a question as it sounds. I'm really curious, because for me, I'd rather drop dead right now. Like, I have no interest in a pretty good life. That's just, for me, that's just not my thing. It's just not my thing. It's extraordinary or nothing for me. And that led to its own issues, which I've processed through over the years. How much more do you want? Let's say you're in a happy relationship. Great. How much better can it be? And what are you willing to do to get it? Unless you are in 100% ecstasy just about every moment of your life, you will get something out of working with me. And I don't mean just get something out. I mean your whole life will change and improve. Finances, business, relationships, sex, intimacy, spontaneity, freedom, mindset, mental outlook, joy, adventure, fulfillment. These are the results. You can see why I'm passionate about it, right? So to go on this kind of adventure, this adventure of what is, what is essentially at its core is self-love. Because when that is adjusted, nothing else matters. So everything else follows that, right? The adventure of self-love. And it all comes through that. And then, oh, how things change. Suddenly, more clients want to work with you. Suddenly, when you're magnetic, you're not just getting more dates, you're not just getting laid more. You're more successful because people want to work with you and people trust you and people see you and people want to give you their money. You're healthier because you've solved what's underneath your mystery stress levels and your cortisol has gone down in your body. You're not like constantly having a low level of adrenaline in your system all the time with anxiety. You have freedom of emotion, so your depression is gone. Your whole world will change exclusively in good ways, because the whole point is we're uncluttering you, we're unfucking you to the point where you can be who you truly are. So there is no negative result to the program, right? By definition. So it's a matter of becoming more of who you are. How much do you want to do that? Whatever your goals are, how much do you want to achieve them? You want to do personal development work. Why? What's the end goal? What do you want? Try this as an exercise. Write down what you want in life. Write down what you want in life, not just what you think you should want or what other people want or what you think you want. What lights you up inside more than anything else? Write that shit down. Read it every morning, every night before you go to bed. Let yourself get excited. Write a whole page. Don't just read it. Feel it. Experience it. What's it going to be like when your life's already like that? Start to see if that creates some shift. Don't stop. Do it every day. Don't skip a day. The simplest things sometimes. The simplest things can create profound shifts. So writing down what you want, reading it regularly, and most importantly, checking into yourself on a daily basis. Can I be okay with what's happening here? Can I accept the reality of what is right now? Try it. See what you think. All right, that's it for me for today, you guys. I hope you had I hope this led somewhere. I know we sort of went a little bit meandering, but I hope it resonated. And if you are interested in finding out more, I do offer a free session where we'll talk about what it is that you're struggling with, and we'll identify exactly what the problem is and how I can help. So if you're interested in that, then please visit domineydrew.com/hello. And that'll take you to a short video of me talking about who I am and what I do. And then it'll give you a chance to schedule a session with me. So I look forward to seeing you on one of those calls. And I'll have the information up on my Facebook Live on my Facebook profile. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.